What was I gonna say? So, which from like the animes you guys are like, how you guys started watching anime? What do you think was like the first anime that like impacted you guys the most?
I'd definitely say, I'd probably say Rave Master, just because of like the story and like the fact that it had like a cool story, and like you could tell that there was gonna be more, even when they cut it or cancelled it after like the first 20 episodes.
To
Yeah,
not,
on Toonami.
oh, I was
They
gonna
didn't
say,
continue. They then did like a few episodes and then they cancelled it, and it probably wasn't popular, so they cancelled it and changed it to One Piece. So, because even the anime only goes up to I think like 56 episodes. It's not a full anime, which is annoying. I think they should do a remake of that, but that's not up to me. Yeah, because the lore of like Rave Master is very, it's in the same world as like Fairy Tail, so they're in the same universe, and they even have a spin-off episode together.
is it literally? Is it in the same world?
Yeah, same universe. Cause
Seriously?
yeah, because
I know it's done by the same guy.
yeah, it's done the same guy. Yeah,
I never knew it was in the same world.
yeah.
Is it the same magic and everything?
No, it's slightly different. With Rave Master, it's more so like people. Some people have special abilities. Like there's literally another dragon character in Rave Master, who I think he turns part dragon. I can't remember exactly, but the format is kind of similar with the main character, Haru, having a sidekick, female character called Ellie, and
His
there's
female characters always look the
yeah,
same.
the designs are
It's so, like,
slightly similar.
because
Yeah.
Eden Zero, Lucy looks like the girl in Eden
The thing
Zero.
is, Eden Zero is like a complete blatant rip of Fairy Tail.
Seriously?
Yeah, whereas at least with Rave Master and Fairy Tail, there's some distinction, and the abilities are slightly different, so it's okay. And like with Fairy Tail, they took a lot of inspiration from the Rave Master characters. So
Grey looks like the guy with the blue hair.
yeah, so Grey is very similar to no, actually, Grey is very similar to a character called, I can't remember his name, but he's a swordsmith, and he has black hair, and they have similar abilities because Grey makes stuff from ice, and this blacksmith, he makes weapons out of silver. He has a silver necklace that can change shape, and like he can make things, weapons with that, and then Jalal from Fairy Tail is literally a rip from another character in Rave Master, whose name I've also forgotten, but they're literally the exact same character, like the same blue hair and everything. And then Erza's moves and powers are taken from the main character of Rave Master, like
the swords.
the swords like changing, except that with Haru, his whole outfit doesn't change. It's just he changes swords. He has 10 swords that he changes with different pendants, whereas Erza's her whole armor changes. Yeah, so it's pretty like cool that they take inspiration from each other.
Well, you didn't finish Fairy Tail, did you? Though?
I finished up to the last season. Then I watched the first couple episodes and I was like, I just stopped watching it. I don't know why. I can't remember why I didn't.
Similar to me, yeah.
I just couldn't.
The first 10 episodes.
But then I found out like the ending was the power of friendship thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I don't know if I want to watch it. But did you carry on watching? Did you finish watching Fairy Tail?
Yeah, I finished it, but then after it finished, I didn't continue because there's obviously the 100-year quest.
Why did they do?
I don't know why they bothered, but
So he's writing Eden Zero and the 100-year quest right
yeah.
now.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah. Me, I just wanted to see how it ends for the sake of the fact that I'd been watching it for so long.
Yeah, might as well finish it,
Yeah.
Because it's Zeref and what's the first master's name? I forgot her
I
name.
forgot her name as well.
But did they get reincarnated or they lose their memory or something like that?
Yeah, I think so. The whole thing is just, but anyway, it's not about Fairy Tail. Yeah, with Rave Master, the only reason why I said I was into it is because like, the fact that they have like a whole grand story from the outset from the beginning, so you know there's gonna be like a big adventure, and the fact that like, Haru's sword is inherited, from like the previous Rave Master, and the raves are like the sword pendants that you put into this one sword, and the sword changes form.
Oh,
So there's 10 pendants that he has to collect, and so as the story like progresses, you see him collect the different pendants and how he uses different swords because they all have different abilities, which is pretty cool. But obviously, then we don't get to see because the anime only ends like to a certain point. So you only get to see him use I think 4 or 5 of the rave stones out of the 10. But it's a pretty cool story regardless.
What about you, Joey? What's the first anime that had like a big impact on you?
I would say, I would definitely say Bleach initially, because like I said, that was like one of the first animes that I kind of knew the plot of. Even though I didn't watch it in order until later on. Just like the whole plot and just like the spiritual, the social society. I just found it interesting, and then how like there's the physical world, and then there's a whole different element with the soul society and just the different fights.
Do you know what's always confused me about the Soul Society is that, do you know people are born in the Soul Society? I thought they were always dead people.
That's what I thought. Yeah, it's true.
So that's always baffled. Sorry, I always thought that was always baffled me.
And then just his storyline, especially for Ichigo, just I found that interesting. And then, so I said that was the first one that hooked me, and which made me want to watch like Naruto and One Piece. Yeah.
See, mine's all weird. I don't know. It's either Dragon Ball Z or Naruto. Because, I don't know, it's like like, the reason why I started watching anime really and truly is not for story, it's just to watch people fight. So, it's like, watching Dragon Ball Z and literally, like, I remember, like, when it was on like, I just wanted to be a Super Saiyan. So you're just like begging, like, as a kid. And you just want to try and be a Super Saiyan or whatever. So I guess that is like literally, it's that, and then like certain scenes, like when Goku first turned Super Saiyan, and then the Cell saga is like a heartfelt saga. Like, I just love Gohan turning Super Saiyan 2. That's one of the best scenes in anime altogether. Him turning Super Saiyan 2. I just loved like him like turning Super Saiyan 2 and then Soul just getting like beat up differently. No, but the I think that's what, because I remember reading somewhere or like watching something, he was gonna change the main character into Gohan, and then because no one like he felt like people weren't gonna like it or something like that, he wasn't gonna. That's why Gohan turned Super Saiyan 2 first, and then that's when Goku turned back into the main character. So yeah, it's either that or Naruto. Naruto is just because I think that's my first anime that I watched like apart from Dragon Ball Z, when I actually got into properly watching anime. Is Naruto. So I love Naruto. Like, it was probably my first favorite anime. I just loved everything about it. Like the Nine Tails, there's a storyline of everything.
Yes,
everything.
I'd definitely say, like, with Naruto, even though some of the episodes were long, some of them are short, and like there's filler in between, I say the good thing about it is like you have like the natural progression of the story, like with each story arc, and like it kind of just pulls you in like after like the first few, first 2 arcs, like you begin to get into the story. So I think Naruto is really good at like the storytelling, which is what I kind of like found myself getting into with anime, like that tell like good stories. So like obviously at first like I was watching Naruto for the action and the fighting. And then like as you get like the more you get into like Naruto, like as the story progresses, and you're like, oh, actually this story goes hard. Like let me keep watching it. Like so when Jetix like cut it at like season 5, like just when it was getting into like the more like serious stuff, like with the Sasuke retrieval arc, that's when I was like, yo, let me go and find the rest of this anime because it's not on TV anymore. So that's when I knew like I was properly into it. The fact that I was searching for it off
that was the channel
TV.
Jetix.
Because Jetix had that, didn't it? It had something else as well. I can't remember what else it had.
They had Naruto, they had Shaman King, and they had a few others. With Shaman King, they showed the whole anime. It was just that the anime deviated from
the manga. Actually, how did you start watching anime, Ash?
From my cousins putting me onto Dragon Ball when I was super young.
Same for me.
Yeah. I was like, I want to say around like 4 or 5 years old. Obviously, I go around to their house all the time. We'll play the video games. And then they put it on TV one time. I was like, oh, shit, it's a show as well. And they were just like, yeah, it came from the show. I was just like, oh, cool. And so from then, I was just tapped in. Okay. I think that's probably, yeah.
So you would say they're like your like first influences in like watching anime?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because it was like that, and then, you know, stuff that would probably be considered cartoons, but like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Beyblade and stuff like that, which all just like went down
that route. Yeah,
for sure.
Okay, so you would say like, was it on Toonami or something like that?
Yeah.
So Toonami played like a huge role in like everyone watching anime. Okay, and then today, would you say that like the internet plays a major role in how you watch anime?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's not even that I'll go like looking for recommendations online, but like just through scrolling through social media, I'll end up discovering a bunch of stuff that I just didn't even know existed. And especially because it's like, you know, if you start following a few accounts and stuff, you're just like, oh, this guy's got a similar taste to me, or oh yeah, this guy likes this, which is similar to mine. So then you start to realize like, oh, okay, I'm gonna take in this guy's advice, or I'm gonna take in this guy's advice, and yeah, and just build it up over time. So yeah, for sure, the internet definitely makes an impact.
Alright, so what would you say was like the first anime that had a big impact on you?
Ooh, that's a big one. Do you know what it is? I think I have to say Dragon Ball, because I actually ended up training martial arts, and I think that just got ingrained in me from a kid, innit? From watching that, I always just used to think that was so cool. And
to fight someone.
Yeah, word. And so when I started like finding out that they were doing like classes and stuff around the area when I was a kid, I was just like, oh yeah, like sign me up type deal. And I think that's where that really came from originally.
Okay. So now, with like everyone saying like the first anime that has had a big impact on you, so what would you say now, watching like being like older and watching animes now, what would be the anime that had like the biggest impact on you?
Oh, that's a good question.
I'm gonna wait to answer this one because I feel like mine's a bit controversial. I feel like you already know what it is. Oh, maybe not then, based on your reaction.
Devilman Crybaby?
Nah.
Oh, Demon Slayer?
Nah. Wait, what?
Yeah, I'll stop guessing that.
You know what? You might as well have a third guess, innit?
I can't think of another one.
Oh,
I was going to leave it.
All right.
Now, I'd probably, for me, I'd probably say Naruto.
Oh, okay.
Still, just because of like, I was watching it obviously from young, so like watching it progress as I got older and like growing up with the characters, like, and seeing it end. That was when I knew like, oh, okay, we're going on this like long journey, and like, it's like for me, obviously, forget Boruto, put that to the side. Like that's his own thing, as he said, that's his own story. But with Naruto, like, I can happily say, okay, that's one anime that's like fully completed, like, and put to the side and like done, like both anime and manga. So like, I'd say Naruto.
What about you, Ray?
I would say One Piece.
Okay. Yeah.
When I was younger, like, you know how you're always saying about you just watch for the fights. So obviously now that I've gotten older, I appreciate like the character developments, each individual's trajectory, where they're gonna go. So I appreciate that more. So I've experienced both sides of the coin. So I'll say with One Piece, obviously it's still ongoing, but I feel like that, and that's the one anime I'm looking forward to the end, because it's been such a journey since.
Can't wait till that end.
Yeah. So.
Alright, for me, sorry, One Piece or Cowboy Bebop. Just cause One Piece, I just loved just watching it and the journey that Luffy went on, and like the friends he's gained, and like just him as a, like, he's not the most like in-depth character in that sense, but it's just like the little morals he has and like the little things he does. It's like he has a big impact on you and like everyone in general. And with Cowboy Bebop, I just love the show, and like the different like themes it has and whatever. Like, yeah, plug. You watch the video on the channel. Yeah, just the different themes it had, the different things it dealt with. Like, as an adult now, like, looking at it, it's like, oh yeah, people may experience certain things, and like but it's how they deal with it, and how, like, it gives you like life lessons on how to deal with it and how you can deal with it. And yeah, probably that one. And it's not necessarily an impact, but Devilman Crybaby like made me rethink life. Like, it fucked me up. like especially the last scene when like it's like God recreates the whole world and now there's two moons. That just fucked my brain up. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's it. What about you?
So I guess similar sort of reasoning to what you were saying, but mine is Neon Genesis Evangelion. I knew you'd kick yourself. I knew you'd kick yourself as soon as I said it, right? But yeah, I feel like the first time I tried to watch it, it's not so much that I didn't get it. I think it was like, it didn't really sink in. I watched the first like, I want to say like 3-4 episodes to begin with. And at the time I watched it at first, it just didn't really sink in with me. But I watched it a little bit later on in life and like hooked. Like, I could not put it down. Like, just that next episode button, the second it popped up, like every time. And yeah, like as you were saying, I think similar reasoning, like just a bunch of stuff you go through in life is, you know, not necessarily directly there, but, you know, as you guys know, a lot of it is all like metaphors for other things and stuff like that. So, you know, I feel like I saw elements of my life or elements of parts of my life reflected in certain things. And so, you know, I'm now at a point where I think like, yeah, that's definitely like now had a much bigger impact than the stuff I was watching when I was younger, for example.
How old were you when you first watched it?
16.
Do you think that played a part then? Because it is like, even now I feel like I'll miss loads of things.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because my friend had told me about it when I was in sixth form. So yeah, it definitely was 16. Yeah, so my friend had told me about it and I tried it out. I was like, yeah, you know what, I get it, but it's like, it just wasn't really resonating. And then when I revisited it later in life, it was just like, oh, like, how did I not like just delve into this? But yeah.